If you've taken a walk around your local mall in the past couple years, you may have seen a new activewear store popping up around the country. Aside from the normal stores like Lululemon, Athleta, Fabletics, and this brand is called Vuori. You may also see people walking around with a very distinct kind of white patch logo on their clothing and think, what is that? Again, that is Vuori. Today, we're reviewing Vuori, an activewear brand that has gained a lot of popularity within the past few years, but it is not a new brand. This brand actually started back in 2014 in Encinitas, California, which kind of makes sense with their whole like laid back surfer vibes. I feel like anytime I see someone in Vuori, they just look like they were born to wear athleisure. And that is definitely another focus of Vuori. It definitely seems more athleisure than functional athletic wear, but we will get into that. If you're new here, my name is Kathryn. I review a lot of activewear, and I am no stranger to Vuori. I have tried a couple of their pieces over the years, and it is actually my fiance Ian's favorite activewear brand. He used to be a Lululemon stan, but now he's all about the Vuori. It seemed like Vuori kind of popped up out of nowhere. I honestly have not seen a lot of athletic brands have actual storefronts besides, again, Lululemon, Athleta, and now kind of more Fabletics, but I feel like it's really hard to become one of those staple brands again, and Vuori has done that. I looked into them a little bit as I was preparing for this video, and apparently the company is valued at $4 billion, which is the largest valuation in history for a non-public apparel company, even larger than legacy apparel brands like Abercrombie & Fitch and Urban Outfitters. And that is just insane to me. Because to an extent, I don't know if I really understand. For me, it feels like another kind of more expensive activewear brand that you just kind of question how they made this name for themselves. But we're gonna try a bunch of pieces today. I have tried a few of these in the past, and I'm gonna be completely open-minded and just give my honest thoughts. As I was doing a little bit of research about the brand for this video, a lot of questions came up in the Google search that were just like, why is Vuori so popular? What makes Vuori special? So I'm not the only one who's kind of had this question of how did they become like the new staple athletic brand when their stuff doesn't seem that unique or innovative compared to other brands. They have a pretty basic size range of double extra small to 2XL. They do have a couple different length options for their leggings and bottoms, and they definitely have a distinctive logo, which I don't really like the logo. I think it's a little bit too bold, but it definitely calls attention in a way that other logos don't. The CEO said that the brand was founded to create something premium for men to get through a tough workout. I do feel like a lot of activewear brands that create both men and women's clothing definitely tend to focus on the women's clothing, but I feel like Vuori does a good job of balancing both women and men's clothing. And like I said, my fiance, this is like all he wants to wear anymore, so I will be bringing him in to do a little review of his favorite shorts and shirt. But I have a lot of things to try myself first. They honestly did not have the biggest range of clothing on their website. They're pretty selective about what they have. They had like a couple pairs of leggings, a couple sports bras, nothing crazy. So I feel like I got a good amount of everything. So without further ado, let's start trying things. First, we're starting off with one of their most popular sets, and I've actually had this one for a couple years now. This is their Yosemite Bra. This is a size small, and this clocks in at $58. So they are definitely a high price point, similar to Lululemon Alo Yoga. And while I feel like a lot of other big athletic brands have a good range of sports bras from more like a bralette low impact to like a high impact, I definitely struggled to find really solid high impact bras from Vuori. So this is one of their classic bras, and this one just has a little seam at the bottom. There's no elastic band for any support here, and we have an open cage style back. Honestly, I love a good sports bra like this, but it is definitely a low impact option. So this is a polyester elastane blend fabric, and it's a lightly brushed fabric, so it has that kind of soft to the touch feel. We have a scoop neck, and then we have straps that taper in the back into this V, and then again you have this little cage style back, and then we have removable cup pads. Cup pads feel pretty solid. They taper towards the edge, so they're pretty seamless, and they're kind of minimally padded, which I like. Let's try this one on. All right, so here is the bra. This is a size small, which is my normal sports bra size, and I would say it's true to size. It's not too tight anywhere, not too loose. We have a pretty scooped neck, but overall I'd say the coverage is pretty good. This is a solid medium coverage. I have like the tiniest bit of side boob, not really too much, and then just like a little peep of cleavage, but I'm pretty contained, and I'm confident that I wouldn't fall out of this bra during a workout. It is super short line though. It is like literally just covers right underneath the girls and nothing else, which is fine. I don't think I'm gonna slip out of it because it has a little seam down there, but there's no actual sports bra band for support. So the support is pretty low on this one. So low support. The inside is lined with a mesh, but it's not visible from the outside. We have these center tank straps that are actually not feeling too uncomfortable on the trap area. And then we have that super cute strappy back. I love a good strappy back. And honestly, I do like that this bra has this cute strappiness with the combination of decent coverage in the front. It's not supportive, but the coverage is good. And sometimes those super strappy back bras just are a recipe for the girls falling all over the place. So I would still consider this a large cap size friendly. It's just not going to be the most supportive. So yeah, I think this would be good for weightlifting, low impact activities. This fabric is still a brushed soft material, but it does have a little bit of structure to it. Then the cup pads are also blending in very well. Then we have our first legging. This is the daily legging. I feel like when I see people wear Vuori, this is one of their most popular leggings. So I got a size small. These are $89. Again, definitely a high price point. This is that same polyester elastane materials. So it's a light to medium weight brushed fabric. All of Vuori's leggings do have front seams. So if you're a front seam girly, this is for you. Personally, I have not worn a front seam legging in several years. So it is hard for me to get behind leggings that have this front seam because with my anatomy, we don't really get along. But regardless, I don't think I've had a huge issue with their front seams before. We do have a triangle gusset that helps a little bit with the strain in the crotch area. These are a full length legging, and the bottom actually has this little cuffed area. This is something we normally see in joggers, but these are a legging fit. They're not loose like a jogger. And then they have a drawstring waist, but the drawstring is actually in the middle of the waistband here, which is actually a really great place to put the drawstring because it still helps keep the leggings up if you have an issue with leggings sliding down, but it doesn't cinch the very top of the waistband and create that kind of muffin top effect and just like general discomfort. So I really like where they put the drawstring on these. And then here's that logo we're talking about. It just really just feels like plopped on. It almost seems like one of those tags that you have on your clothing, like that says, like if you go to Target and there's like a size medium sticker on something. That's what this looks like to me. It just looks like it shouldn't be there permanently, but it is. I've kind of gotten used to the logo and I don't hate it anymore, but it's taken a long time to grow on me. So I would love to get your opinions on the logo. It just feels like a little bit strangely placed. And then we go to the back, and again, Vuori's kind of living in the era of Lululemon Athleta where they've done nothing in the back of the leggings to really make anything flattering on the glutes. We just have a flat across waistband. So there's no like slight curve to just kind of give the booty a little bit of roundness. I'm not saying everything needs a scrunch or anything crazy, but I do like to see a little bit of something going on in the back. But if you're not into that and you like everything super plain in the back, we got that. Let's try them on. Okay, here are the daily leggings. And I actually really like this fabric. I think it's a good combination of brushed, but also pretty durable. I have worn these a couple times and I haven't seen any pilling or anything. Again, it's only been a couple times, so if anyone else has more long-term experience wearing these, let me know. But these are a high rise. They go just a little bit above the belly button here. We have that drawstring waist, and like I was mentioning before, you can tighten this drawstring and it's still not going to give you that muffin top appearance because it's not at the top of the waistband. We'll see a drawstring at the top later in the video, but I think this is a really flattering way to have a waistband and kind of keep the leggings up without kind of having that unflattering effect. The drawstring on this one also feels really high quality and just a solid drawstring. It has those kind of wax dipped aglets at the end as well that match the color of the fabric. This also fits very true to size. It's not too loose or too tight anywhere, which sometimes I struggle with sizing on certain athletic brands like Lululemon and Athleta. They just don't fit me very well as someone who has like a larger hip measurement and a smaller waist measurement, but this is fitting well. So we do have that front seam. It's not causing crazy camel, so it's not like the worst I've seen, but definitely a little bit. So if you're someone who can tolerate a front seam, I don't think it's a bad one. Personally, I just prefer not to have the front seam. Again, we have that logo on the side and it just looks like something that you should be like peeling off. And then in the back, the seams go right below my hip bones. So kind of still within the acceptable range for me. And I don't think it's squishing the glutes down, but it's also not enhancing. So we're just gonna go with a solid medium on the booty scale. It's not helping, it's not hurting, it's just there. Full length view. These are the regular length, so they're kind of a 7/8 on me. They do come in a longer length now. You might get a little bit of cellulite coverage in darker colors. This fabric is definitely not the thinnest they have, but it's also not super thick. So I'd say you're okay in most like medium to darker colors. I would consider it cellulite friendly, not totally cellulite proof. And overall compression is about a light to medium. It's not the most naked feel, but I'm also not super squeezed in these. I just don't think they're like a super tight legging. So yeah, overall the set is super cute. I definitely think think the leggings are nice and functional with this drawstring. They'd be a good like walking or running legging just because this would help it stay up. But the sports bra is definitely better for lower impact activities. One thing to note about the daily leggings is that they are only brushed on the outside, not the inside. So the inside has a sleeker feel. So here's the inside of the legging, and the outside has that brushed feel. So it feels a little bit less soft against your skin on the inside because the inside doesn't have that brushed texture. The next sports bra, we have the Vuori AllTheFeels Bra. This is a size small and it's $58. And I was not expecting this to not have any cup pads. I really like the option to put cup pads into a bra. As someone whose girls just could use a little bit of extra shaping that a cup pad offers, and also the nippage protection. I don't love to see a no cup pad bra. So this is going to be even less support than the last one. Again, very much focusing on athleisure. Like I wouldn't do much more than like a light walk. So this is their softest fabric. This is their Bliss Blend fabric, and it definitely is soft. It's giving like a Lululemon Nulu, if that is familiar to you, but it's pretty similar to the last one, almost just a little bit more brushed and a little bit softer. Here's a close-up of that fabric, just nice and soft and brushed. It does feel really good. I wouldn't say it feels like much better than other fabrics that I've tried. We have a super skinny spaghetti strap. This one does have an elastic along the bottom of the band, which can provide some support. I also like that the elastic is just shown on the inside, so you still get that seamless look in the front. And then the back, we do have that Vuori logo, and it comes in to a little Y, kind of like the Lululemon Flow Y bra. Let's try it on. Okay, here's the sports bra. Also, ignore my little like skin patch situation going on. I got a little bit of a sunburn the other day. I know, I was not intending to be out in the sun. I just got stuck in the sun and got a little sunburn. And now ever since, my skin has been kind of patchy there, so please ignore. But honestly, liking this bra a lot more than I expected. This fabric just is very stretchy and it's kind of just holding the girls in the right way. I also like the addition of the bottom band on this sports bra. It's just kind of keeping everything contained and making sure the girls aren't going to come out the bottom. So I'm feeling a little bit more secure in this one than I was in the Yosemite bra. And although this doesn't have cup pads, it does have 2 layers of the fabric, and it feels like there's like some sort of mesh lining on the inside that actually makes this a little bit thicker than expected. So you might actually get a little bit of nip coverage here, and I feel like I am getting a little bit of structure. So it's still definitely a super light support, but it's better than I expected. So I'm pleasantly surprised. We're gonna go with the same medium coverage, not falling out of it, but there is just like a little bit of scooping around here. Again, I'm confident it would hold me in any low impact workouts. The spaghetti straps are pretty thin, and they do have the stitching on the inside of the strap, so I could see it being a little bit uncomfortable over time. I also would say, true to size, if you're in between, you really could go either way. This is a size small, fitting me like any normal size small. And then we have the straps kind of converging in the back and plenty of room for the lats to move around here. So definitely a comfortable bra. I could see myself doing low impact activities in this. Pleasantly surprised with the thickness of the material in the front here, but definitely again, not your high impact bra. But again, it is a little bit basic. You question what made this bra the high price tag if it does have a lot of features of other sports bras, and it's not super unique, but the quality feels good. Next, we have the AllTheFeels Leggings. I also got a size small. I think I got a size small long because they have 3 lengths of these, which I did appreciate. And these were $98. So these are definitely super pricey. Like the AllTheFeels sports bra, this is that same fabric. It's ultra lightweight. It's going to be super naked feel, very soft. I just do definitely struggle with leggings like this that don't have a lot of unique features. Like we do have just a front seam, flat across waistband, flat across in the back, just like a thinner, soft material. You can find very similar leggings to this for a very affordable price, especially when affordable brands are starting to get much better fabrics now. Like it used to be that affordable brands, you couldn't find any good fabrics, but now that they're getting a little bit better with their fabrics, I have to have like a main selling point to really want to splurge on a legging like this. And I guess we'll see when it's on, but I do struggle with something that is so basic to, it's just not selling me. Anyways, we have a high rise double thickness waistband here. We have that triangle gusset. There are little pockets on the sides of the waistband that we'll see when they're on. And again, that flat across waistband in the back, and it looks like a little room for the glutes there. Let's try it on. Okay, so these are definitely super stretchy, super naked feel. This is definitely going to be your fabric if you're doing yoga and you just want like full range of motion. I'm not feeling any restriction in these. I love fabrics like this personally. I think they're super comfortable, and I really like that this one just seems to be like hugging all the curves in the right way. Sometimes you get thin fabrics that just feel like they are almost like a little bit saggy. That's definitely not the feeling with these. So definitely like the fabric. The waist on these is just barely a high rise. It's just kind of halfway covering my belly button here. So a little less high rise than the daily leggings. We have that double thickness waistband. We do have a front seam with leggings that are this stretchy. I just have this feeling that I want to keep pulling them up, which can cause camel problems. So it is unfortunate that this has the front seam just because it kind of gets in the way of that. But I would say as far as front seams go, it's not super invasive. Then we have some fun features. We do have that little side pocket in the waistband here. It has a bonded edge seam. So it's very sleek looking here. You almost don't even notice that it's there. But I kind of like it on the side instead of those back pocket waistbands. So I think it's a good location. We do have that logo. Again, the whole legging just looks so sleek, and then you just have this square on the side that just feels out of place for me. Then we go to the back. The seam, again, this is my hip bone here. It is a little bit low. And although this fabric is very lightweight, the compression is definitely low. So it's not squishing the glutes down, but again, it's not doing anything to enhance the glutes at all. And if you ask me, the seams could be a little bit higher. So overall, I'm going to give it a medium on the booty scale. Again, not helping, not hurting. This is going to give you less cellulite coverage than the daily leggings because these are a lot more lightweight. So I really wouldn't expect these to be cellulite friendly. Full length view. I love that these come in multiple lengths. So this is the long version and they are a full length on me. These leggings also do not have any side seams, so they're a very seamless look. So yeah, definitely a solid legging. I like the fabric, but it's nothing too special for me to justify being nearly $100 when you can buy something like CRZ Yoga Butterlux on Amazon that also has a front seam. For me, I'm all about no front seam, but they are nice leggings. I just definitely struggle with the price tag on these. I thought this fabric would be brushed inside and out, but again, the inside is more sleek and it's just brushed on the outside. So it was still pretty soft against my skin, but I was a little surprised that usually brands brush inside and outside on these naked feel leggings. So I personally like when they brush on the inside because that brushed material kind of helps grip onto your skin a little bit more and prevent it from sliding down during your workouts. Okay, let's get into some loungewear because they do have some really soft joggers. I have had some of their joggers for a couple years now, but I got a new pair because they now come in long. When I first had them, they only had one length and they were a little bit short, but now they come in 3 lengths. So I can find something that's a little bit better for my taller figure. And these are definitely one of their most popular items. These are their Halo Performance joggers. Ever since they came out with these, I always struggled to figure out why they're calling them a performance jogger. In the activewear world, a performance material is something that is sleek to the touch, cooling, sweat wicking, it has a very specific feel. And this is nothing like that. This is the softest, loungiest material I can think of. So to call it the performance joggers, it just doesn't feel right. Nonetheless, these are super comfy. Again, I have had a pair of these in the past. These are $94, which are quite expensive. And they're made of a soft marled fabric. Here's the fabric up close. These soft marled fabrics, you've seen them from Petula with their bare fabric, Alo Yoga, Alo Soft, Beyond Yoga Space Dye. They're the stretchiest, softest fabrics that you can really do. They are brushed like the last one, so they have almost that fuzzy feel to them. And to make this into a cozy jogger is just very soft. This is another one of their signature things, is they have these little stripy drawstring ties, and we'll see these on the men's shorts later. But anyways, we have a kind of scrunched elastic waistband. We do not have a gusset on these, which I guess is probably okay for a jogger, but that is a little bit surprising. We have a little cuff at the bottom of the ankle, very plain in the back, nothing going on. And then we do have 2 slit pockets in the front. And these are made of a recycled polyester and elastane blend. They do have a whole section on their website on sustainability, but about giving back. And I still think there's not really a good way to actually distinguish if brands are actually doing anything sustainable, because at the end of the day, if you're just making a lot of clothes all the time, how sustainable are we? So I feel like they often use that to justify a high price when I just don't know. And this goes for all brands. Anyways, let's try them on. Okay, here are the joggers. So everything has been fitting pretty well so far, and this is how they've fit me in the past. But if you look down the length of the leg, they're pretty snug along my calves. Then I have a little bit of room in the knees, pretty snug along the thighs, and then I have quite a bit of fabric up in this top area. So I think that's just how these fit. Honestly, I don't have a problem with it, but before you tighten the waistband, I do have quite a bit of room in the waist. So once we tighten it, this is the fit. Definitely, again, got some bagginess in the hip area here, here, but that's what kind of makes it look like more of a relaxed jogger. Overall rise is honestly more of a mid to high. As you saw before I tightened it and kind of pulled it up over my hips, it really was showing quite a bit of belly button. So not the highest rise around, but I am kind of moving to appreciate a slightly less overwhelmingly high rise. Like I don't want things going all the way up to my rib cage all the time. We do have the two front pockets here. I thought they used to be sewn on the outside, but they're now an inner pocket. I could be wrong about that. They may have always been like this. This fabric is really one of the comfiest, coziest fabrics that I've had in a jogger. Like they look soft on camera and they are just as soft as they look. Then we go to the back. There really are not very many details back here. Even though they're a little bit snug on the thighs, these would be very cellulite friendly because first of all, they're not skin tight. Second of all, they do have a lot of marling to them, and that kind of texture in the fabric helps to disguise cellulite a little bit. Then let's look full length. And this is the tall version, and honestly, they could be a little bit longer. Like I'm 5'9" and I don't have the longest legs, so I do feel like they could be just like a tiny bit longer, but for me they're okay. But if you are anything above like 5'10" going into 6 feet, these might be a little bit short. We do have that cuff at the bottom, and here we can kind of see the leg line. They do have a little bit of room under the calf, but I'd say they're like a snug-ish fit jogger. So yeah, personally I wouldn't do a ton of activity in these. They feel like more of a lounge jogger, which again, they call it the performance jogger, but this material really, it almost feels like pajamas, so I don't really understand that, but they are super comfy. To go with those joggers, we have the Halo Performance Crop. This was $58 and I got a size small, and it's just kind of your classic built-in bra tank. And super skinny straps. Again, support is just not really on the radar for Vuori, I guess, because literally everything, if you scroll on the website, every single one of the bras is like spaghetti strap, low impact. And you just think you'd have one higher support option. I do have their higher support option here, but I'm a little hesitant about it. This in combination with the performance joggers is just a super cozy combo. So we have that marled soft material, a slight V-neck. The straps do split into two in the back for a little bit of a strappy moment. I wanted to get the gray, but they were sold out, so that's why I got a different color here. This bra does have a full shelf liner with cup pads, so there is a little bit of support going on there. I'm glad it's not just like a one layered top. And again, we have that logo on the bottom left corner here. Let's try it on. All right, here is the crop. So it's just your classic V-neck built-in bra top, but this fabric is super, super stretchy, so it's very comfy. It is a slim fit, but it's not like super tight against my skin. So overall, I would say true to size, and I wouldn't want this to fit any more snug, so I'm liking the size small. The coverage on the top is, again, a solid medium coverage. I've been really pleased with the coverage that they've had. Sometimes these more delicate looking tops that don't appear to have a lot of support also don't really fit larger cup sizes well, so I'm glad to see that this is fitting. And I haven't had any bras or tops yet that I feel like I would fall out of. Definitely have a little bit of scoop around the armpit area here, but overall contained. Support, again, is a pretty low support, so we haven't really surpassed that low support yet. It's a mid-length crop. It goes a little bit above the belly button, so kind of your classic crop length. I have a long torso, so I'm showing some skin here, but if you have a shorter torso, this might be a kind of like a meet and greet length where it hits the top of your legging waistband. And then the back, the straps split into those two thinner straps. I appreciate that it splits after it goes over my shoulder so that it's not cutting into my shoulder with those two tiny straps. So I am finding this to be pretty comfortable. So yeah, nothing crazy, but it's comfy, it's cute, and it's fitting well. And next, if you guys know me, you know I love a loose pant. And when I saw they now have their performance jogger material in a wide leg pant, say no more. There are not a lot of brands coming out with these like super flowy wide leg pants. And whenever I see them, I am just all over them because I've progressively gotten to a point where it's like, at first you're like, oh, jeans are a little tight, so I'll wear leggings to be comfortable. And then you're like, leggings are a little bit tight too. So then you start wearing sweatpants, and then you're like, sweatpants kind of cling to your ankles. So let's just have a fabric that doesn't get anywhere near my legs and is super wide and super flowy. And that is a wide leg pant. So I love a good wide leg pant. Very similar to the joggers, we have that elastic waistband, the drawstring, the two slit pockets in the front. Again, no gusset at the front here. And this did come in multiple lengths. Of course, on the website, it just says short, regular, long, and doesn't give an inseam. So I've recently learned that brands don't post their inseams because they're often not consistent among sizes. So for everyone's sake, I will be posting all of the inseams of the items that I got, but this is a size small, so keep in mind it may be different for different sizes. These look so comfy. Let's try them on. Okay, these might be one of the most comfortable pants I've ever worn. So first of all, they are plenty long. This is the tall version, but they're literally hitting the floor, which is honestly how I like my wide leg lounge pants to be. Like, I don't want to be walking around like this around my house, you know? That's not what I want. So I love this. Again, it is a little bit loose in the waist. I felt like none of their leggings were loose in the waist. So definitely for their joggers and lounge pants, if you have a smaller waist, you could definitely size down. Like I think I would be fine in an extra small, but they do have the waistband. So it just depends if you would like to have like that kind of extra fabric around here, or if you want it to be a slightly slimmer look. But this is made of that same super soft jogger material, except in a wide leg version. And this is just what I want. Like just nothing touching the legs, just full leg freedom. So this is also a higher rise than the joggers. These are going like above the belly button. So honestly, an ultra high rise, they could be a little bit lower if you ask me, but they're a lounge pants. So I'm not like super picky as long as they still look good overall, which I think they do. We have those 2 front pockets and they are a true wide leg. The only area where it's skimming my legs is my upper thigh, which is the bulkiest area on my legs, but it's not tight by any means. I still definitely have plenty of room and stretch there. So I don't think it looks awkward. And I like that it's just like a true straight wide leg. It's not a flare or anything. It just goes straight down. Super comfy. No restriction going on here. Comment down below if you think I should try a size down, because I'm kind of wondering, because I guess it is this style, but I almost think it looks a little bit too bulky when you tighten the waistband so that it doesn't fall down. You just get like a lot of this extra fabric. So yeah, consider a size down, but these are a great pant. Okay, next we have their performance bra. And I didn't mean to get this from the back, but yes, if this is their highest impact bra that they have on the website. So this is their Stride bra and it's $64. If you have a larger bust and you do high impact activities, $64 is really not crazy for a really solid high impact bra. But again, if you have a really large bust and you do high impact activities, you'll take one look at this bra and question why this is the highest support option that they have on the website. It just kind of blows my mind that a huge activewear company that claims to have really functional clothing would just disregard the whole large cup size group of girlies, you know? We need a little more than this. As someone who has recently started running, I know, don't be surprised. We'll see if I keep up with this, but I've just been wanting to switch up my routine a little bit. Bras that I once thought were more of a high impact bra don't stand a chance when you're running. Like the jiggling is crazy. So we will do a little jog test in this. This bra is made of a polyamide elastane blend. It has a scoop neck, finally some thicker tank straps. We do have a solid elastic band along the bottom of the bra that will hopefully provide a little bit more support. And then the back, we still have that band back there, and then the straps come in and there's little cutouts. It's definitely a cute bra, but keep your expectations low about the actual support this is offering. The material is a sleek performance material. It has that kind of cooler to the touch feel. Here is that material. I think they do a good job of not being too shiny, so it feels like a nice quality performance material. And this bra does have removable cups. Let's try it on. Okay, so here we are, and something about this bra is just not fitting quite right. So I will say the coverage is pretty good, as well as the compression. This fabric does have a good amount of hold to it and it has good compression. So I am fully covered. I would say I'd give it honestly a medium to full coverage. We have a little bit of scooping here, but pretty good armpit coverage. And the actual support, I'm still having a good amount of jiggling, so I would say medium support. I feel like now that I'm starting to run, I'm going to be a little bit harder on my support ratings, which is good because we need something to hold the girls. Then we have that thick elastic band along the bottom. And as you can see, it is creeping up onto my actual bust area here where it should be sitting completely below. And I did initially put it on so it was sitting like this below, but it likes to creep up because in the back, the strap goes really high, which usually is a sign of a kind of ill-fitting bra to be coming up so high in the back, but it feels like it's intentional here. All the straps are kind of going up, but that pulls that elastic band up, which means it's creeping up onto my bust. So I just don't find this one to be super comfortable. I do think it's cute in the back, and I appreciate that the straps are thicker and elastic, but I think the design just isn't really working for my bust. So I would still say it's large cup size friendly in the way that I am covered in it, but the fact that this is the most supportive bra on the website, when usually a bigger athletic brand, like something like Athleta, Lululemon, they would have a kind of more supportive running style bra, especially when these are called the Stride Legging and the Stride bra, which makes me think it's a running bra. But if you have a large natural chest, this just isn't going to be the level of support that you would need for actual running. Could it be okay for maybe like a light jog? I think that might be painful after a while. So far from a bad bra, I just wish that this wasn't the highest support option. And we can already see it starting to creep up again here. To go with that bra, we have these Stride leggings. So these are going to be their more performance focused legging. That same polyamide elastane blend, sleek performance material. We have a straight across waistband, front seam, triangle gusset, and the pockets have a bonded edge at the top, so it's nice and sleek. We'll see that when they're on. And we do have a seam that kind of curves around. I don't love when pocket leggings do this because the seam is usually a little bit too low and just kind of cuts off the line of the glutes and just makes your glutes look a little bit more flat. So I don't love having that. We have the logo in the back. I do definitely prefer it in the back here as opposed to like that kind of front side leg position. There's a zippered pocket in the back as well. It has a mesh lining. There's another little mesh pocket on the front left of the waistband as well, which I actually like this as opposed to the ones that are more like tucked into the side of the waistband because I feel like this is really easy to access. And these do have a top band at the top, so this can kind of cut into you, but this is commonly seen with performance leggings because they slide down a little bit more frequently. We also have a loop drawstring waistband to help them stay up as well. So let's try these on. Okay, here are the Stride leggings. So first of all, the fabric, it's a really great performance fabric. I like that it's not too shiny and it's got a good amount of hold to it. It's pretty dense. It's got a good medium to high compression. So kind of everything that I look for in a more performance style material. We do have that double thickness waistband. Again, this one is just kind of barely hitting the belly button here. So a solid high rise. And unfortunately, since this fabric is a little bit more snug, a little bit more compressive, I am getting a little bit more of a camel problem in this one. So this is probably not a front seam that I personally would reach for. I mean, I generally try not to do front seams, but the other two leggings I feel like weren't causing noticeable camel, where this one I am feeling it a little bit. So just a little bit more invasive than the others. I love the side pockets on these. So we have two seams down the side of the leg. And then we have that bonded edge seam, which means you're not getting an actual visible stitch on the outside. So it's a very sleek look to the pocket. Definitely plenty of space for a phone in here. And then we have some of the inner pockets. So we have that little mesh pocket in the front here, which is hiding really well under the fabric. These are true to size. I feel like they're a little bit more snug in the legs just because of the compression, but not in a restricting way. There's like a tiny bit of tightness in the knees, but I think the fabric is just a little bit more dense. And it does have a top band, but I feel like they made the waist not too snug at the top to the point where it's going to cut in. So I'm not getting a huge negative impact with that little band at the top. But we also have that drawstring for if you are doing very high impact activities and you want to make sure these stay in place. I feel like if I tied a drawstring like this, I would never get it untied. So personally, I prefer the other style of drawstring that they had, but this is definitely an option. And then we go to the back, and we have that logo there, and we have the classic seam that goes right a little bit below the hip bones, kind of how all of them have. And then we have that curved seam that goes on the glutes there. So unfortunately, these are definitely squishing the glutes down a little bit. We're gonna do low to medium on the booty scale. So they are slightly taking away from the glutes. But again, if you're wearing a performance legging, that is just kind of a downside that most of them have. It's not going to be very glute enhancing, just depends on your priorities. I'd say they're mostly cellulite friendly, especially in medium to darker colors because they are kind of holding you in with that compression. And full length view, these are regular length, not long. So they're only a 25-inch inseam. So they're hitting me kind of around the ankle length. Oh, and then we also have that zipped pocket in the back. I think it was already open before. Yeah, so it has a little mesh area, and then you can just zip it right up. It's a pretty standard performance legging. I like that it does have the pockets, but I think the front seam is just a little bit too invasive for me on this one. And then because I can't stop myself from buying everything that I see on the website when we do reviews like this, we have two more fun little items that I haven't seen anyone talk about, but they looked cute. First, we have the Pose fitted tee. I love that this kind of looks just like a little cute semi-cropped baby tee, and these can be kind of hard to find. So this is a size small, $58. It's made of a kind of cottony feeling rib. So it's a modal rayon elastane. It's definitely tough to want to pay $58 for a modal rayon fabric just because they're not always the most expensive. It's definitely not the highest end fabric, but it does give a lot of flow to it, and this does feel like more of a medium weight. So we have a kind of scooped crew neck, short sleeves, Vuori logo on the bottom left, and just simple on the back. Let's try it on. Okay, so here are the tees. And if these weren't $60 a tee, I would have this in every color. These are so cute, super stretchy, just very comfy, and just such a good like everyday top. And I love shirts that are this length because they go like right to the length of whatever bottoms you're wearing, whether it be like a jean short, a sweatpant, a legging. So you're still getting full coverage of all of your skin, but it's not super long where you have to kind of bunch it up at the bottom. So kind of like the perfect baby tee. It has that ribbed feel, which I like. The neckline is a kind of scooped, almost crew neck. It's not tight against the neck, but it's not a full scoop. We have short sleeves and it's snug along the bust, but I do have some extra room at the bottom of the top here. So I would say it's a semi-slim fit. If you do want that like super skin tight fit, I probably would size down, and I think I would still have no issue sizing down even with the bust area because it's so stretchy. And here's the back. It is plain as well. And it's about a medium thickness, so it's not the thinnest top, but it has a good amount of weight to it. I feel like all of the colors would have a pretty good opacity to them just because the fabric is a good amount of thickness. And then we have the Volley Skirt. I almost included this in my active skirts video I did recently, but I already had like 16 skirts in that video, so it was just getting a little bit long. So we're trying it now. So I was happy to see that this actually came in multiple lengths, and I got the long version. There are a lot of short little skirts out there, so it's nice if you have larger glutes that kind of take up more of the length of your skirts to have a long length just to make sure you're fully covered. So this is a polyester elastane, slightly brushed fabric. I think it's the same composition as the Yosemite Bra and the Daily Legging. We have a legging style waistband here, so it's just a double thickness fabric, kind of a semi-flowy fit. And now we're seeing the other kind of Vuori logo that they have, which is giving Girl Scout badge that you put on like your little vest. You know, if anyone was a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, you know what I'm talking about. It's like those little sew-on, press-on fabric things. Here it is. So again, quite a bold logo. They're definitely into these kind of like standout logos. They just don't blend with the overall vibe of the pieces at all. This is the logo that they have on all of like their men's shorts too. So again, let me know what you guys think about this. So I just think they're quite bold, but again, a bold logo makes it recognizable. So could that have helped them, you know, like rise to the fame? Maybe. And this is a skirt. So inside we have a lightweight mesh short, and on the right side there's a phone pocket, and on the left side there's one of those inverted tennis ball pockets that make it really easy to just slide your tennis ball up into your shorts. The inner short inseam is pretty short. I measured 3 inches, and the full skirt length is 15 inches, which is definitely a little bit longer than our standard skirt that we measured in my active skirts video. So let's try it on. Okay, here's the skirt. And I'm a little surprised at the amount of waistband gaping I have in this one. The rest of the waistbands, I mean of the legging style waistbands at least, I didn't have any extra material here. So I definitely think this is running a little bit big, which again, I was not expecting. I think the shape of it is super cute though. It kind of has that A-line, more slim fitting shape, but it's not so body hugging like the Lululemon Aligned Skirt. The Lululemon Aligned Skirt was really hugging onto my glutes and almost rode up in the back because of that. Because this one just has like a good amount of like float away from the body, I feel like it's still a flattering shape, but it's gonna stay here. It's not gonna ride up. So I definitely like that. This fabric actually is different than the Daily Leggings, but it has a pretty similar feel. It's lightweight, but it has a little bit of structure, and it has a little bit of a brushed feeling on the outside. This is a pretty high rise. I think an ultra high. It goes above the belly button. It's 15 inches in total, so good glute coverage in the back. Again, we have that logo on the side. It's just pretty bold. And then we have the shorts on the inside. I don't love this choice of material for the inner shorts. It's kind of got this flimsy mesh feel that just doesn't feel super high quality. I would have liked to see the same material as the outer material on the inner shorts because this just doesn't feel as nice. And the short inseam plus the flimsy material is making my thighs eat the material right up. That being said, it's not cutting into my thighs. It's not uncomfortable. It just isn't my choice of material. Then on the left side, we have that tennis ball pocket. So it enters in from the bottom. So you can just slide a ball right in. And then the right side, we do have a phone pocket here. I worry about this material. This mesh is kind of flimsy, so I feel like a more dense material would have held a phone a little bit better. This just feels like it's gonna move around quite a bit. So yeah, I actually really like the outer material of the skirt. The inner material is just okay, but I also like that it comes in 2 options. So this definitely would have been up there for good skirts in my active skirt video if I had included it there. Okay, Ian was kind enough to join us here. I guess you're the one who introduced me to Vuori because this is his current favorite activewear brand. When he doesn't have these shorts to wear to the gym, he like doesn't know what to wear. So this is the Strato Tech Tee and the Core shorts. He wears a size large on top and a medium bottom, and that's what these are. Would you say that they're true to size? Yeah, true to size. The shirt is actually super soft. Like I'm really impressed with the softness of this shirt. It has like a slight marl to the fabric, and it's like a nice flowy fit. If you raise your arms up, it doesn't show your skin. Okay, that's good. So very lightweight.
Sleeves are good. Oh, it does. They have a little patch right here. It says inspire happiness.
Okay, and then the shorts. I felt like the shorts at first, they looked kind of like swim shorts. They're supposed to be like a surfery kind of brand anyway, so I guess that makes sense.
I guess you could wear them in the water. I wouldn't.
Well, anyways, these are the Core shorts. This is what you have most of. They have 2 front pockets. They have a drawstring. They're 7.5-inch inseam. Okay, and it's kind of like a almost like a windbreaker kind of material here.
Just showing them.
Showing the quad gains.
No,
So,
I'm not saying I do.
is it stretchy? Not really. It has a little bit of give, but it's kind of like a lightweight windbreakery material. And it's held up really well. He wears these all the time and washes them all the time. And we dry them and definitely have held up over time. Anyway, Ian's a Vuori fan. I think they have really good men's clothes. Thank you, Ian, for joining us.
I don't know if it's ever been shown on one of Kathryn's YouTube videos, but here we go.
Ian wants to show off Pinto's little stretch.
Everybody, we're gonna do it. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Good boy. Wow. See, it's not forced. He knows.
No one thought it was forced.
Look how long he is too. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Good job. Okay, that is everything. Honestly, compared to other athletic brands that you can buy in stores such as Lululemon, Athleta, Fabletics, Vuori is definitely fitting me the best and I feel like appeals to my style the best. I find that I don't fit into Lululemon or Athleta very well, and Fabletics I just don't really like the quality. So out of those options, I think that they do a great job. I do still think that the price tag is pretty high for other more affordable options, especially considering the front seam. If they got rid of the front seam, I honestly would be very on board with a lot of their styles, but because I'm just so anti-front seam, just for my personal anatomy, I probably still won't really venture into a lot of Vuori. That being said, even though the price point is on the higher side, oh, Peach, oh my gosh, hello. She doesn't like when I don't sit with her for a long time. I'm sorry I haven't been sitting. I'm sorry. That being said, even though the price point is on the higher end, all of the pieces today felt like great quality and the fabrics felt very high quality, so I'm not noticing any quality issues. Let me know what you think about Vuori down below, if there's any other brands you would like me to try. I also should include Alo in the list of brands you can buy at stores that I'm not really into. I still would rank Vuori above that. But again, I won't be changing my entire wardrobe to Vuori anytime soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.